our navigation bar works, but it doesn't look very pretty. So now we're going to start styling it. It's good practice when adding CSS files to our projects to put them in a separate folder. So right-click on the Hello World folder and select New Folder from the bottom of the context menu, and I'm going to create a folder called CSS. In there, I'm going to create a new file called style.css. And once we have that created, we can open it up in our editor. The first thing we want to do is add some general rules for our body element. Now the browser has a built-in style sheet, so we want to override these by setting the margin and the padding to 0 so that we're getting more predictable results. The default font also isn't that attractive, so I'm going to change the font family, and I'm going to use the Oswald font and set the sans serif font as a fallback in case Oswald isn't available. Now that we have some general rules set up for the body, we can start styling our navigation items. So the first thing we want to do is create a rule for our unordered list, which is inside our nav element. Now you'll notice that each of the list items here has a bullet point beside it. We want to remove that by setting the list style to none. And we want a more attractive background color as well. So we're going to go for a charcoal gray color. The hex code for this is hashtag 4A4A4F. We want our navigation bar to be horizontally centered. So we'll set the text align to center. And we want to remove any default margins or paddings that the unordered list element has. Now that we've done that, we can style our individual list items. So nav li, and we're going to change the font size to make it larger than the default by using 1.2 em, which is a relative font size. And we're going to set the line height to 40 pixels and also set the individual height of our list items to 40 pixels as well. Now we want them to appear next to each other. We want to have a horizontal navigation bar. So to do that, we can change the display property and set the display property to inline block. Inline block, if you remember, doesn't start or finish with a new line, but we can apply width and height properties to it. And then we'll just give a little bit of breathing space between each of our items by setting the left margin to 2.5%. Now that's done, we can style the individual anchor tags, the A elements. As you'll notice, every single link has an underline, and that doesn't look too attractive for our navbar, so we're going to set text decoration to none, which will remove that underline. Since we have a background color of charcoal, we want to set our default font color to white. The hex code for this is a hashtag followed by 6 Fs. And we want to display our anchor tags as block elements. Now when we hover over it, we want something to happen so that we can see which element we're hovering over. So what we're going to do is invert the colors. We'll set the background color on hover to be white, so a hashtag and 6 Fs. And we'll set the font color to be charcoal. So that was hashtag 4A4A4F. So once we have our CSS set up, we can save that. And now we need to go to each of our individual HTML files and add a link to the CSS file. So if I go into the head of my HTML file and start typing link, you'll see there that it provides a snippet. And the snippet allows us to link easily to our CSS file. Notice that the cursor is already in the href portion. So we can provide the folder name, CSS, /style.css, which will load the style sheet that we created. So we'll save that file. And now I'm just going to copy this line and paste it into the head of stream3.html. We'll save that and paste it into the head of stream1.html. Now you can see that our live preview has updated with our styles. Our navigation bar now has a charcoal background with nice, strong, bold text. And when we hover, the background of our links becomes white and the text becomes charcoal. And this is applied to all of our pages now. So in the following unit, we're going to look at adding some images to complete our project.